Wrestling show. Welcome back to Two Marks and a Spark. My camera angle's different. It's been a long time since we did a show because I moved. Again, what is this? The third time I've moved since we started doing this show?
Yes, you moved, and then I had a little case of about a 48-hour flu, something like that.
Well, yeah, and I'm
48
sure
to
that wasn't
72
fun.
hours.
I'm sure that wasn't fun. But what was fun was most of the wrestling we've gotten for the last 2 weeks since we did a show. And then, Russ, I got to tell you, we're not going to talk all about All In here because this show's mainly about Bash in Berlin. Or All In, excuse me. All Out's next week. I thought All In was the better show just because the ending of All In was so well executed.
Yes, I would agree with that. That kind of made the whole show for me, even though it had the typical flaws of a lot of AEW shows, too many trios and ladders and too many people moving furniture around. But
Oh,
the
and
way
the
that,
Young Bucks
that
retaining the
show ended
titles.
was just excellent, with the right. I didn't think they were going to put the right guy over. I thought they would go with tradition and have him retire flat on his back, but it looks like he's going to be around for just a little while.
Another major headline coming out of this, Ricochet debuting in AEW. Uh Look, if the guy's happy, I'm happy for him. By all means, go where you're going to be happiest, go where, you want, work where you want. At the end of the day, it's a job.
Right.
I still think creatively the better thing for him to do was to stay in WWE because he was starting to catch fire for
It
Ricochet.
seemed as though he was being utilized more right toward the end there.
Now, maybe he knew there was a ceiling on him there, and there definitely was, because the difference between WWE and AEW right now is WWE has three top guys, really.
Well, it
Uh,
also could have been the schedule could have been more attractive. I
yeah,
don't
but
think they were on the
his
road quite
wife's
as
still
much.
in WWE, and she's not going anywhere.
Right, but you think I don't? She doesn't probably go around and do a lot of house shows.
I wouldn't think. I don't know. I've never been to a house show. I don't know. So, let's talk a little bit about All In. I thought the opening match was garbage.
Yeah, it was putrid.
I legitimately, I tuned it out at some point. I went on my phone. I I was
It's
not
just
entertained.
nonsense. It's been done a million times before, and even when it was done well, it sucked.
Uh, I thought the ending was good. I thought the right people won the trios titles, the four-way ladder match for the trios title. I thought the right people won.
Off the top of my head, I don't have my notes from that show here. I can't even remember who won.
It was Pac and the Blackpool
Okay,
Combat
all
Club.
right. Uh, I remember that now.
Mariah May and Tony Storm was way better than it had any right to be.
That was very well done.
And Mariah May winning was weird. I was like, why? What? That that's
I
the
didn't
one
expect.
that is one thing on this show that didn't make any sense. I was like, wait, but she's not over. Wait a second.
Not quite.
Like, I like Mariah May, but I also used to watch Stardom, so like I have a little bit more of a mindset towards like, okay, Mariah May is really good. Like
Yeah,
I know that. Hook and Chris Jericho was predictably bad.
yeah, I'm afraid so.
I
It was like a
just
comedy match.
and it was too long by a long time. It went on forever. It sucked. No buys. Anyway, the Young Bucks against FTR and the Acclaimed was a
Predictable ending.
disaster.
Yeah, it was it. I tell you, this company has dreamed up more ways to bury FTR and bury them deep and throw away the shovel than even Vince McMahon could do. I'm amazed at how much AEW seems to hate those guys.
And they do hate those fuckers, don't they?
It sure seems like it. I mean, they don't give them a damn thing.
Then the Casino Gauntlet match happens, and I actually thought this was really good.
There were so many people here, I lost track. We just had one. The one debut was Ricochet,
Well, and Christian winning. But
right?
Christian winning kind of seems like nonsense now because Jack Perry's getting a title match at All Out.
Right, but that was the only big first appearance we got, wasn't it, Ricochet?
Well, and Nigel McGuinness was in the match.
Right. There was all kinds of rumors, which I did not believe that we were going to see Bobby Lashley and MVP and those guys, those hurt
If
business
Bobby
guys.
Lashley is going to go work anywhere, Bobby Lashley does not need to work, by the way. Bobby Lashley is a very intelligent individual. He could go do just about anything he wants. He doesn't need
Well, he
wrestling. He does.
doesn't he own a couple of gyms, or am I thinking of somebody else?
He owns a couple of gyms and he also owns a couple of other businesses like not related to athletics. So he's independently wealthy. He doesn't need the money.
Good.
Uh, So if he doesn't want to wrestle, he
If he
doesn't have
wants
to.
to wrestle, he could do well anywhere that doesn't require him to do great promos. If he's got somebody that can do his most of his talking for
Sounds
him,
like he's gonna have MVP with him wherever. It sounds like him and MVP are a package deal. So if that's the case,
MVP can talk better than he can wrestle, and Lashley can wrestle better than he can talk.
and that's why they've always worked together. I think they're going to TNA. I really do. I think they're going to TNA.
Oh, I think that would be a good fit for them.
Well, that's where they were before.
Hmm.
So
And then
could
saying
they
that
go?
then MVP is a better talker than he is a wrestler is not a knock on his wrestling because he's actually pretty good.
I always thought MVP should have won a world title somewhere.
There would have been a time, yeah.
He should have because he was good enough to do it and
Well,
was
I was
so.
surprised when this thing was won by the patriarchy also.
Eh, I'm not. Christian's really good. The funny thing about Christian is he's almost 50, or he might even be 50 now, and he is still one of the best wrestlers on the roster.
Right. He's just a couple years younger than Dustin Rhodes,
Yeah, and he's
who
and much
actually
like
is
Dust,
wrestling very good matches these days, believe it or not.
still having incredible matches. Anyway,
Yeah.
then we had for the international slash what was it, United States whatever title, MJF and Will Ospreay. This was fucking incredible, predictably.
Yes. This was great.
Can we talk about Will Ospreay's entrance? That
Sure.
was fucking awesome. His Assassin's Creed entrance was just
Oh, I know.
incredible, wonderful, and Osprey wins as he should
Right.
have.
A lot of people saw the homage there. Also, an homage is geared to Lex Luger.
Yep.
Is almost identical to the gear he wore at WrestleMania 10 and the lead up to that.
And then we had Britt Baker versus Mercedes Moné, a match that AEW did everything to make sure we didn't give a shit about.
It was an unfortunate waste of time. It was. I feel like
It was a good match, but the buildup was just
I just don't care about Mercedes Monet. I don't care. I don't care if she lives or dies. So that's not going to make me invested in a wrestling match about her.
now if Britt Baker would have won, you would be much
I,
happier.
well, I'd be happy about that. I'd be like, good. Britt Baker's on her way back to the top the way she needs to be. But no, apparently they've got long range plans for Mercedes Monet up. They better have for the money they're spending on her.
And then we had perhaps the shortest coffin match I've ever seen in my life. This barely got started.
Oh, I know. I missed part of it and almost missed all of it.
Darby Allin and Jack Perry. Jack Perry wins, and it seems like he's getting a world title match, which just makes no sense. But
No.
and then we had definitely the best match of the night, and a match of the year contender, and definitely a contender for best pay-per-view ending ever, which was Swerve Strickland and Bryan Danielson.
Very well done.
These
From
two
start
went
to
out
finish,
there.
this was perfect.
I don't know if they called the finish in the ring. I doubt that they did. I doubt it. But if they did, they couldn't have called it any better.
It was great.
Danielson wins. He doesn't have to retire yet. It sounds like he's sticking around. And finally, they put the damn belt on him.
Yep. Well, there was reportedly he was resistant to winning the title.
Oh, yeah.
There was jokes being reported online. They joked that Tony Khan might have to do the opposite of the Montreal screw job and screw him in by putting the title on him against his will.
Well, the other news that
It
came
was
out
well
last
done.
couple weeks here, and I can't remember if it was before or after All In. Again, the move has completely, when you move, it completely delineates time in a way that you just don't remember in which order events happen for a while.
Right.
You remember that they happened, but you don't remember when. Um, Sid Vicious, Sid Udy,
Right.
Psycho Sid.
I think that was Monday.
I think it was right after All In.
Right. I think it was Monday morning because they had a tribute on Raw Monday night.
Yep. And we get the news that he passed away at just 61. This was crazy because much like, you know, every other death in wrestling, it seems like they were just doing interviews 6 months ago. Um, and yeah, that was that was a wake up call. I was like, wow.
That was a
And
surprise.
and he wasn't that old, like at all. Like
Oh,
61 by today's standards is young, and
yes, it is.
yeah.
Oh,
And then
I
Russ,
have outlived him.
and then Russ, we get more shitty news. Have you heard about this Nikki Bella situation? This is fucking insane.
I've heard about it vaguely, but I don't know any
Okay,
details.
I'm not going to spend too much time on this. It was just in the news and it's related to wrestling, and I want to talk about it because her, I think, soon to be ex-husband is a piece of shit. Um, and we like burying pieces of shit, right, Russ? So there's a domestic violence case involving these two. He was arrested. Allegedly, he called the police because he, you know, um, not done good things for a while and had done some damage to Nikki and was worried about her, so he called the police. And then he called back 10 minutes later and said, never mind. Police showed
Well,
up anyway.
of course they did. They have to.
Update, ladies and gentlemen. He was arrested and the police showed up anyway. Well, no kidding.
Yeah.
Uh, Artem, I can't even remember how to pronounce his last name. This dude, his brother-in-law is Brian Danielson. This guy needs to be fucking careful because if Danielson gets him in a room alone, he's dead.
Oh
Like,
man.
I don't
Talking
know
about
what the
talking about kicking someone's fucking head in,
kick
as he
his fucking
wants
head
to
in.
do. Yeah, he'd do it for free with this guy.
Yeah, he'd do it for free and he'd do it for real.
Yep.
I when I saw that, I was like, oh, oh, that's a plot twist. You know what? I hope that guy sits in jail for a long time. I hope he doesn't get out.
Yes.
Um, Domestic violence is disgusting, and anybody that persecute or not persecutes, what's the word? Commits that offense,
Right.
uh, were, as it were, are awful people. Anyway, let's talk about Bash in Berlin.
Interesting show. Came on early in the day for me, right at 12
A
noon.
a very good show that had some missteps. Anyway,
I'll give praise once again to the WWE for holding their, as they call them, premium live events to about 3 hours. And once again, 5 matches. 5 matches that seem to, all matter for some one reason or another.
Kevin Owens and Cody Rhodes for the undisputed title open this show. I'm in the minority of people that thought Kevin should have won this match. And I know that's going to come off like a hot take right now with how good Cody has done as champion.
What do you think they're going with Kevin Owens' character with the his refusal to return to his evil ways and his good sportsmanship after the fact? I like that.
I like it.
I'm glad that he didn't heel out on Cody.
As am I. I thought this was a very good match though. I
Yeah.
thought this was a very good opener. Again, I do think Kevin should have won, but that's a
Uh,
whole nother conversation.
I get tired of people complaining about Kevin Owens though looking like a slob. They say his gear looks terrible. He looks like some slob that just walked out of the crowd, you know. And I said, well, that's kind of his gimmick, isn't it? He just looks
Yeah.
like a regular guy. He doesn't look like a muscle man or anything. You know, that's kind of his gimmick. Is he looks kind of like Eddie Kingston. He looks like he just walked away from a bar stool, you know.
But that's why so many people like him because he just looks
Yeah,
like a normal guy.
yes, he does. And I thought it was a good match too. Cody did a good job. I don't
Uh,
know. I don't feel one way or the other strongly about the who should have won or lost.
Bianca and Jade Cargill did end up getting the tag titles back. I don't want to talk about this match too much because it was short and kind of inconsequential compared to the rest of the show.
I see. I think I understand where they're going. I think that Jade and Bianca are pretty much over with the crowd. I know I like them better than you do. It's good cosmetics, you know, if nothing else.
But you also like Jade Cargill a lot more than I do.
Right. And she's tired of answering questions about AEW. She's focused on the future now. Come on.
And then we had the second of what is going to be at least a trilogy, I guarantee it, between Drew McIntyre and CM Punk in the strap match.
Yes. I was
This
very
was
disappointed in the ending, but I also feel like it's not over between them.
this was much better than their first match.
Yeah.
Even though I thought even though a lot of people didn't like their first match, I did. I liked this one a little more. They're gonna do a Hell in a Cell match at Bad Blood. Okay.
Yeah.
And then we had what really could have been and was almost, I think, match of the night, which was the mixed tag match between the Terror Twins and the Judgment Day. This was fantastic for the most part. I
Yeah.
they really you can tell the chemistry between these four is just off the charts, and they all went out there and had about the best match they could. And the Terror Twins, Priest and Ripley, end up getting the win. I have a feeling we're going to see a similar match again at some point,
Right.
maybe with a stipulation.
Right.
And this was very good.
Actually, you know, I think the Terror Twins too. It's a great name for their gimmick, right?
And those two are legitimately like this in real life. So
See, they can dress them all in purple, and then they can have two rings that go together. Terror Twin powers activate. You know.
I've heard some bad ideas for gimmicks, but that might have been the worst one.
Okay, you're not a Super Friends guy, huh?
Well, that would be funny. I would laugh really hard if they did it. I just don't think they
Yeah.
will.
No, I don't think so either.
And then we had Randy Orton and Gunther as the main event. And dude,
This was really good. I love this match.
this was the match of the night
Yes,
and then some.
yes, it
Like
was. It was awesome.
these two went out there and killed each other.
it was beautiful.
And there was a couple of spots where I was like, "Holy shit, Randy's gonna win that." That was the best part about this match. There was a couple of points where you legitimately thought,
Right. You really
"Oh,
did.
they're gonna
And
fuck up here."
I thought the crowd helped make it fantastic too, having it, you see a little bit different side of Gunther's personality being in his home country. We
Well,
never would
near
have
it.
seen the good sportsmanship after the match. We've never seen that before. I think that was
Gunther,
out of respect for his home country.
well, and Gunther's talked about it before. He's got a lot of respect for Randy. Like he's talked about that in interviews and stuff. So, like,
It
I
was it was great.
and Randy did exactly what Randy Orton has done so well for really his entire career, which is when he loses, he makes the guy he's losing to look really, really, really good.
Yep, sure did.
And Gunther wins, and the crowd goes crazy, and it couldn't have ended much better than that. I thought All In was the better show,
Yeah,
but I did think, and I thought All In had two of the better matches. Like there's two matches on All In that were better than the entire Bash in Berlin card. But overall, I thought, you know, it was it was two very good shows. One was definitely better than the other, but the ending definitely carried All In
right.
for the most part. Russ, what did you think was the better show?
I would pick All In marginally just because the main events were so good, but I'd put that one first. Uh,
Neither main event had any chance of ever being bad, and neither main event disappointed at all. The two matches that these shows were sold on were both fantastic.
right.
So it it is, and they really did sell Bash in Berlin on Gunther and Randy Orton, and everything else was kind of a, and they really sold All In on Danielson and Swerve, and everything else other than Osprey MJF was kind of a sideshow. So it was really two well put together shows for the most part. I thought the Bash in Berlin build was better than the All In build because I thought the All
Yep.
In build for the most part sucked.
Well, and All Out is going to be the same way because that's coming up here real fast. I
That's
think
next
this
week.
Saturday night I think it's in Colorado, isn't it?
No, it's in Chicago.
Chicago. Why did I think it was in Colorado? Oh,
Um,
that's where NXT is.
yeah,
Right. They're in Colorado tonight, I think.
yep. I can't remember which pay per view it is, but yeah.
Right. Because I only halfway keep up with NXT.
Let's actually look at that NXT card. Let's just see if it's anything worth.
I know Joe Henry's on there.
I mean, if Joe Henry's on it, I'll probably watch it. Joe Henry's over, man. He's over with me.
That's right. He's over with two companies too, with NXT and TNA at the same time. That's pretty cool.
So I'm gonna read this NXT card to you, and I want you to tell me if any of this sounds like you'd watch it.
Yep.
Wesley versus Zachary Wentz. I mean, that'll be a great match. That's two high flyers. That'll be a great match. But uh Chase University, which is Andre Chase and Ridge Holland against Nathan Frazier and Axiom for the tag titles.
Yeah, I'd
Okay.
watch that.
Okay, that sounds pretty good. Kalani Jordan versus Wendy Chu for the women's North American title. That's gonna be something.
All right.
Oba Femi versus Tony D'Angelo. That's gonna be pretty good.
Tony D'Angelo, I wonder if he's going to have the family with.
It looks like it.
I like what's her name. Uh,
Adriana Rizzo.
there you go. Because she'll bust a broad right in the mouth. She's such a
Then we have
sweetheart.
and then we have Jada Parker and Roxanne Perez. They need to call Roxanne Perez up.
Roxanne Perez is trained by Booker T, I believe, if I remember right.
Yeah, and she needs to be on the main roster. I don't know if
Yeah,
you've noticed, she's like really good.
yeah. I'm surprised they haven't called her up yet.
And then we have Joe Hendry and Ethan Page for the NXT title with Trick Williams as the referee. That'll be something.
I think both those guys are interesting.
I won't be surprised if Hendry wins. Here's why. Because I think Page needs to go to the main roster. I think they need to strap a rocket to Ethan Page's ass on the main roster.
Yep. Well, I tell you what, it's been a pretty fast. Things have moved very fast since he left AEW.
Oh, no
You know,
kidding.
there was a couple of months there where he did a couple of indie shows in Des Moines and picked up a few bucks on his way to WWE. So you know, he stopped off for a cup of coffee in Des Moines, Iowa on his way to WWE and did a
Well,
couple of matches with 3XW.
I want to talk about Dynamite for a second because we got one major thing out of Dynamite, which is John Moxley is back and appears to be a heel.
Apparently so. You know,
He's a heel.
not that he's going to change his style, and he always wrestled like a heel anyway. Pardon me. And
He came back looking kind of like Stone Cold Steve Austin. I'm not going to lie, with the bald head and the beard. Yeah, I
he's
was like,
got some
oh,
female with him who I was look familiar, but I can't quite place.
Marina Shafir.
Yeah, but she looked really different. She looked a lot different than the last time I saw her.
I think I've seen her more recently than you.
Okay, because I didn't recognize her at all. I remember when they first brought her in, she was kind of lost in the shuffle, didn't know what to do with her.
Well, Moxley's been helping her a lot, so I think they're putting those two together on screen because they're he's kind of her mentor in real life anyway, so it just kind of made sense to
All
flip the
right.
script and put them on screen working together. Well, Russ, I
Yes, sir.
thought I thought it was a very good couple weeks of wrestling, but one thing I will note, I'm not excited for All Out.
Yeah, I'm not really. I mean, I'm going to watch it, of course, but at this point, they haven't really built up. I mean, it's only been a week since their last show.
Another announcement we got out of All In is Forbidden Door is going to be in the UK next year.
Yes, that is right.
Also, yes, All Out is next Saturday.
Saturday night, I believe so.
With already 6 matches announced. God help me if it's much more than that.
That's enough. They can stop right there. That's enough.
And actually, if you listen to this card, they actually got it pretty well put together. Pac versus Osprey for the international title.
Good match.
Statlander versus Nightingale in a Chicago street fight. That'll be good. Page versus Strickland in a steel cage. That'll be all right. Garcia versus MJF. Sheeta versus Mercedes. And Danielson versus Perry. Honestly, that's enough of a card right there.
Yeah, they could quit right there. We don't need any ladder matches. We don't need any move the furniture around matches. We don't need any, flap the flagpole with a stick up your ass matches or any of that kind of stuff. No
You're fine with a
Viagra on
st-
pole or
you're fine with a steel cage match though.
yeah, that's all right. That's enough of a tradition. As long as they don't break up too much furniture from under the ring.
And a street fight.
Right.
Well, that can be your kitchen sink match where you just kind of throw everything around.
Yeah, and then you can pour thumbtacks and shards of glass all over the ring and then, roll around in it like a bunch of blood drunk savage barbarians, for the sick fucks in the wrestling audience that enjoy that kind of stuff and get off on it. Not me personally.
That was one hell of a rant.
Okay. All right.
That was that was pretty good.
All right. Yeah. Well, I'm not real high on deathmatch wrestling.
Oh, neither am I.
If people actually died in a deathmatch, would people still go watch it anyway?
Somebody would.
Some people would be crazy enough to do that. Yeah.
Somebody would go watch it. I think.
Yeah.
I think somebody would. Russ, another bit of news we got is it appears Scott D'Amore is back in the wrestling business.
I understand that he is going to work for a Canadian promotion.
He owns it.
Right. But I forget the name of it.
Maple Leaf Pro, and they're doing two pay-per-views later this year.
Well, if they're available, I wouldn't mind taking a look at it because he's always been a really, really
He's
smart
a
guy
good
in the
booker.
wrestling business.
And he got Mauro Ronaldo to do commentary. So like I'm in. They're
Yeah.
gonna be on Fight TV. We'll probably cover them. Maybe not fully, but like we'll talk about them. It sounds like Jinder Mahal is gonna be on those shows, but you know, I've actually heard he's better since leaving WWE because he's not wrestling that style anymore.
He made a statement that I hadn't thought much about. He says every time you see an Arab person in the wrestling business, they're always a heel. Always, every time. They're always a stereotype. He says he would like to be able to wrestle as a baby face and have him be like a heroic babyface Arab American, But the promoters didn't want that. They wanted to exploit what's going on in the news.
Well, Mauro Ronaldo appears like he will be because it sounds like Maple Leaf Pro is gonna get a streaming deal somewhere, probably with Fight, and
Now, did you ever see there was a documentary Mauro Ronaldo did about his own life and about his struggle with bipolar disease? If you've never seen it, I can't remember the name of it, but it is a fascinating watch. It is so raw and honest. It highly recommended. Highly recommended.
I always thought he should go back to WWE. That movie's called Bipolar Rock and Roller.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, get a chance. I highly recommend it.
Let me see where it's available. I might watch it right when this show's over. It's on Prime Video, so it's easy to
Okay.
find.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, everybody go check that out. I'm probably going to. All right, Russ. I think that'll about do it for us. But we're back on schedule now because
Yes.
now I live here now for a long time.
Right.
Hopefully, I hopefully live here for quite a while. So,
All right. Excellent.
all right, folks. We will see you next time. Russ, always a pleasure, brother. Like, comment, subscribe, do all that good stuff. Go check out everything else here on Lock 22. And till next week, or Damon, hit the fucking